How's it going?
Good. 1 second. I need to make sure my audio. I just plugged in my mic
You've been out of the game too long.
out of the game. Is my mic okay?
Yeah,
Sounds good. Do you like the
those
lights?
they're
Pretty
really
cool, eh?
something. They're really something.
Pretty cool, eh? Oh,
It's too bad. Pretty much as soon as you got the lights, you stopped doing
well,
episodes.
big news. Big news. I confronted, and I'm gonna continue it on my own.
Nice.
Yeah, I just figured, you know what? I took your advice and I just asked, and like didn't resolve it, but
Yeah, maybe he'll join back in at some point.
now it's just a solo lad talking about his adventures through the world. Not a multiple lads. So
That's fine, but you'll have people on like me.
exactly. Already planning. Already planning. So
All right, so which topic are we chatting about
I'm
today?
gonna let since you. I'm just gonna you start one of them and I'm good. Just give like an intro to one of them. I'm good with
Okay.
either.
Okay, maybe yeah, let's do the dislike button.
Perfect.
All right, sweet. So, do you use you obviously use YouTube, right?
I use everything.
You
I'm
use everything.
like on any platform you can think of. Maybe I even use Reddit now because like I find like people post like very hot takes, meaning like the way out there thoughts of certain things that have. I'm pretty sure Reddit has dislikes, if I'm not
They have
mistaken.
downvote, which is
They
a
have downvote,
dislike.
but same kind of thing. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, what do you think? Like, what's your gut reaction? Like, and it doesn't have to be all of them, but I guess Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are the ones that come to mind that don't have a dislike type button.
it's a little like I don't know. It's when it comes to downvoting or like you got to really hate something to not like it, right? Like when you're on YouTube, you're not gonna not like it. If you're indifferent about it, you're just gonna leave it, right?
Exactly. You have to actually dislike it.
Like it's more about those like the videos that you see. Hold on, I'm gonna change something so I can see you. I keep popping up bigger.
Like you're
Um,
angered by it, or at least
if
for
you're
me,
angered
you think
by
they're
it, if you're like
lying, blatantly lying.
exactly, and I find like a lot of those videos that are like animal cruelty videos, they have a lot of dislikes. They have a lot of thumbs down because
Right.
there's so many people in this world that are, and I'm not gonna argue against it because like I'm against social and animal cruelty as well, but like
Yeah.
the social justice warriors, right? There's a lot of them out there, right? That are
Yeah.
just gonna find the nitty gritty stuff and just hey, I don't like this. I need people to know I don't like this. I'm gonna comment and dislike it.
Yeah.
So my opinion of it, I think like everything should have a dislike. Why only give people gratification, right?
So that example is kind of an interesting one, the animal cruelty one, where you said, because like maybe the dislike button and the like button could be confusing as to if you dislike it, are you, do you like, are you, when you press dislike on an animal cruelty video, is it because you don't like the animal cruelty or because you're like, you actually don't mind like animal cruelty and you're like, I don't want this person
Yeah,
doing it?
I see what you're saying is like if you like
Sometimes they're
it,
confusing.
like if you like it, are you supporting the animal cruelty or are you supporting the people against animal cruelty?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, generally, okay, so you were saying you think it does make sense to have a dislike button
Yeah, I
on all
think
three of
like
those,
I
Facebook,
think the
Twitter,
world
Instagram.
revolves too much around social gratification. Like you post a picture now to get likes. You don't post it because you wanted to like live in the moment or have a memory. You post it for other people to be like.
Yeah,
And when they like it, you're like, "Oh, like he saw it. I'm okay with that. I'm content." Right? There
yeah,
was a point, I'm not going to lie to you, that if my Instagram didn't get like 150 likes, I would take the picture down because people could see the amount of likes. And if it was like, if it was hitting 150, 150, 150, and then it like 130, and then the next one was 200, like the trend isn't upwards. It takes a dip, and like that means more people disliked it than usual. I didn't lose followers, right? They
yeah,
just didn't like it.
right.
So I'm guilty as charged. You know, I'm very guilty of that.
Can I say where this thought came from?
Like mine.
No, like mine, like
Oh
why I
yeah, yeah.
why I
Go
first
ahead.
thought of the question. So I was thinking, I think it came across when like I saw a tweet that I thought was like a blatant lie or something from Trump or something. And because there's no dislikes on Twitter, there's going to be like there's like 200,000 likes on it or something, right? Because he's got lots of supporters. But I'm like, if there was a dislike button, I'm very curious how many dislikes there would have been,
Yeah,
because people can comment saying like this is like you're a liar or whatever, but commenting is more effort than disliking it. So like it's not like really a good gauge to know how many people dislike it. So I was just trying to think like, can you actually use, in some cases I feel like you could use dislikes, like the like to dislike ratio, to get a sense of like is this accurate, like are they lying, like sometimes on YouTube, like if I click a video I'll look at the like to dislike ratio, and that I feel like that gives me a kind of good sense of like, is this going to be worthwhile to watch, is it going to be good, similar to like ratings, like for a movie I check Rotten Tomatoes before.
I agree. But here I'm gonna like I'm not arguing with what you're
Yeah,
saying. I feel like comments are a lot more work,
yeah,
right?
totally.
Like when you're like you just said, like when you look at a movie rating,
Yeah,
you're not really looking at the comments. You don't
no,
want to know what happens in the movie. You're looking at literally the it got 4.8 stars
yeah,
out of 5,
exactly, yeah,
right? So I feel like when there's a dislike button or when there's like negative comments, you're not keen to looking at the negative comments. You're own like because there's so many likes, you're like, "Oh my god, there's 200,000 likes."
yeah,
You're not going to scroll through 200,000 comments and find like the negative ones.
no, you're not.
So to me, it's like, what if everybody that commented something negative also reviewed it negative?
Give it a dislike.
Or like, these AIs that eventually will become a thing are able to pick up on how we type and like put the negative connotation with the comment to the dislike, you know?
So why do you think YouTube has a dislike button? Is it to give viewers a sense of like, I guess, what people think
I
of
think
the
so.
video?
I do. I think like it gives when I'm watching something, I find it hilarious. Do you know what I forget what year it was, but do you remember the one? Do you it was a couple in the past few years.
Yeah.
Do you know what video had the most dislikes?
Was it like a Justin Bieber video?
No. You'll find it hilarious. Because there's so many internet trolls.
What was it?
It was the YouTube Rewind. So their own video that they posted on their own platform, trolls just said, "Hey, we should get this to the
Just for
most
jokes.
amount of dislikes, like the most disliked video in the world,
Yeah.
just because."
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know if it has to do with analytics or how much they get paid, the revenue. I'm assuming it does because when you watch these big YouTubers, they always say, "Please like, comment, and subscribe."
Yeah.
Right, and like is always the first one. So I'm assuming the amount of likes that you get, right, like
Oh, interesting.
gives you a kind of a revenue. I'm pretty sure I read into that at some point. Um,
Interesting.
so I'm wondering if it affects these creators' revenues
It
or
could. Yeah, it's a good point. I'll look into that. But it's also, I guess, dislike buttons. I guess it can be like, it's like painful if people dislike your content, you feel bad.
I would feel awful.
So
Now
I
here's the
assume
thing:
I
if you
assume
had,
that's why Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram don't do it.
well, here's the thing: there's so many Instagram bloggers, and I think like I don't want to pull things like out of my ass. I don't, but like I feel like there's a lot of people with like mental health issues that use Instagram and Twitter as a platform. That if they got like you know down likes, right? Like you can ignore comments, but if there was a button saying, "Hey, I don't like this," like it would get to their head,
Yeah.
right? There's like, hundreds of thousands of Instagram fucking models. So, sorry for the swearing. I haven't done this in a
Yeah.
while.
No, no problem. It's allowed.
Um, you know what I mean though? That like, do you think they'd post as much? Do you think they would get as many brand deals? Like, these are the things that I was thinking of when you asked me this question originally. It's
Yeah.
like, probably not, right?
Yeah.
These brand deals are saying, oh, like you have 100,000 followers, you get, 30,000 likes, and 10,000 comments. But I wonder how many like people would dislike the picture if they could, or go through the comments of how many negative comments there are. Like, oh, those jeans look terrible on you, right? I don't think those companies are doing it. But that's just like, it's a way out there. That's like a hot take.
No, I think you're right on the mental health piece. I would just say I think that like everyone has mental health. No one's mental health is absolutely perfect, I would say.
No.
Every single person on this planet has days where they don't feel better than others. Obviously there's varying degrees and it can be way more serious than others. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like that's one of the downsides to a dislike button is um people people feel bad if people dislike their content. Um I'm curious, like what would be grounds in your mind of disliking something? Like what are the scenarios in which you would dislike something? Like for me, for instance, the big one that comes to mind is where I'm fairly confident that I think the person is blatantly lying. And they could be lying for a variety of reasons, but that's the one that I think comes to mind. They're being dishonest.
That's, yeah. Wait, are we talking about Twitter or Instagram?
Um,
Like, if we're talking about just in general, I think it's easier for me to answer. If we're talking for like individual, because Instagram and
Say
Twitter would
whatever.
be
Say you
different
can
for
say
me.
general or and specific.
Okay, so Twitter, it's if they're lying, right? Like you can't like it's just like if they're lying,
Yeah.
if they're just trying to gain attention, if they're subtweeting somebody, like
Okay.
why do things like that need to be public? If you want to subtweet somebody or get a hold of somebody, just fucking send them a DM. You know,
Well, you can't in some cases, right?
I agree to that, and sometimes you
Yeah.
get blocked, and sometimes you
Yeah.
get like whatever, but create your own hashtag. Start, whatever. Find a way. But I don't like when people lie. I could agree with that one with you. Twitter. Uh, I'm a huge. I hate clout chasers when they're just tweeting to tweet and I'm not like a feminist or a sexist person as well, but like when I know a girl has no idea about baseball or hockey or basketball, like zero clue, and she starts tweeting all these things like, "Oh, what a pass from Lar," like I would probably dislike
You
that.
don't like bandwagoners?
I don't like bandwagoners, right? And it goes against guys too. Like, I know if you watch sports, if you're my guy friend, like I know for a fact.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like Instagram, for me, it'd be like if the food just like looks gross that somebody is posting, I don't like food, right? Like, don't get me wrong, if it was like a close friend, I would not dislike it.
Yeah.
But if it's some like big account like
Stranger influencer. Yeah.
foodblog.to or something, or like, like an Instagram model that like I follow that lives in LA, or, a professional athlete that posts a picture of his food, I'll dislike it. There's no heartfelt between us two, between me, the picture, and I. Like if you posted a picture of food and I think it looked disgusting, like as a good friend, I'd be like, man, that looks so good. Like, right? Like I wouldn't want to make you feel like an ass, I wouldn't want to make you feel like shit. Right? And I wouldn't comment. I just probably put flames or something like look sick, you know? So it's different. It's different on all the platforms, I would say. Yeah. I think Instagram is more of like it becomes a personal thing rather than a factual thing because you're actually seeing pictures rather than like reading pictures. Unless they're
People
literally
can put
screenshot.
captions, but yeah.
Yeah, unless they're
Or screenshots.
screenshotting like a picture of their tweet and
Yeah.
posting it on. Like to me, like I probably would. I just skip those anyways.
Yeah.
Instagram isn't Twitter, so and Twitter's not Instagram, so yeah. I feel like I would love to see what it would look like if people saw mine and like disliked. Here's the thing though. What if like you couldn't remove a picture after you posted it or a tweet after you posted it?
You're saying like how would that change how people approach?
Yeah.
like sharing stuff.
Yeah. Like you got to be 100% certain you're okay with sharing this information or this picture. Because if it gets 3 likes and 700 dislikes, you're shit out of luck. You're not like I wonder if people like people's world or people's, social credibility or social gratitude or whatever would change if you weren't
Interesting.
able to remove these pictures.
Yeah, people would definitely like share stuff less,
Way less. I think the world
which
becomes so much of a better place.
there's good and bad with that. There's good and bad. Um, but yeah, you bring up a good point. Like if you couldn't delete stuff, then stuff becomes more like truthful. Because like a lot of times when people are deleting stuff, to your point, like if it's Instagram, maybe you're deleting like a post that didn't do well, so that it makes it seem like all your posts do really well, when in reality you deleted all the bad
Exactly.
ones. Or on Twitter, like I can imagine if people make a prediction about something, like, oh, COVID's going to be done in a month, and it doesn't happen, they might delete it, for instance. But it's actually better if it's still there so that you
But
can
here's the
tell.
thing: is like when you put out a tweet, it's always there, even if you remove it. If someone searches hard
Yeah,
enough,
true. You can find the history, right? There's like different.
yeah, there's like
Instagram might be the same to some degree, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot
yeah,
harder
yeah.
if you delete it to find it.
Unless you're like a coder or
People has to
hacker.
screenshot it, or there's like, I think there's different websites. Things called the Wayback Machine. I think they like essentially screenshot like every page somehow all the time.
We're on the dark web. I'm telling you. Do you think the dark web has likes and dislikes?
What is the dark web? Is this like Silk Road?
Like I don't want to talk much about it because like supposedly people are always listening, but it's just like, if you ever held your, if you ever took a picture of your passport on your phone and somebody hacked your phone, they have your passport. Like you are
Okay.
on the dark web. Like if you don't cover,
Is this like Silk Road? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
I think Silk Road is like the website. It's I think it's sort of like Amazon for illegal stuff.
Oh
So you
yeah,
can like buy
basically.
like illegal guns and different things on
Yeah.
there.
So basically, it's like if you don't cover your webcam and you are walking by naked,
Yeah.
supposedly somebody's always looking at your webcam. Like,
Well, no, that's only if you get hacked.
no,
If
no,
you're not
no.
hacked,
That like, but your webcam light won't turn on, right? Like, you'll never know. So like, you could be hacked, or somebody just has like
this sounds
access to
like
your
a conspiracy.
dude. I'm confident I'm on the dark web. Like confident. I'm not gonna fuck. Like, I don't wear boxers when I walk around my room after a shower.
I,
Like,
I I trust Apple. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do trust them that if the light's not on, the camera wasn't activated.
I
But I guess we'll never know for sure.
We'll never know. We'll never know unless you become a whack job and join the dark web and somehow we'll never
Yeah.
know. Um, but yeah, I what's your take on it? Like, do you think like these sites like Instagram? I know you're not on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I'm not really on it. Like I deleted my account, but I can still go on public accounts without
yeah, but you can
without an
only see a
account.
certain amount of pictures. You can't see.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
like,
mean,
do you think like these? Like, I know you're on Twitter. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure I see you on
I'm
Twitter.
pretty addicted to Twitter. Yeah, it's not healthy.
Um, would you dislike things if you could?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Like
Like
even close friends or just like in general?
close friends, unlikely. But most of my Twitter feed is not friends. Like I think very few of my friends are tweeting on Twitter.
Yeah,
It's more so like
professional
influencers or
athletes,
whatever you
things
want to
like
call it, athletes, stuff like that. Yeah.
that. Interesting.
Um, but I'm curious, like, I'm trying to think, like, because Twitter could like test it out. They do
Easily.
like
They could do
they,
a 24-hour test.
yeah, and they can do tests so that it doesn't have to go out to every user. They could just do it to like a few thousand users. I'm trying to think, like, how would you, if you were working at Twitter, like, how would you decide whether or not it's a good thing? So let's say you test it for a few thousand users, like, what would you be looking for? Like,
I'd look
um,
to see if people are actually pressing it.
okay, so let's say people are pressing it. Then, like, how do you know if it's actually good for the the community, good for
I
the
feel like
app.
it'd have to have like a percentage compare like towards it. Like if you release it to 10,000 people, at least 5,000 people have had to have clicked it once.
Okay, so it's
Like a
getting good
50, like
usage.
a 51-49 split.
Okay,
It'd have to be like at some point within the test, 51% of the people chose to try to touch it or press it or whatever. And even if they clicked it and unclicked it, Twitter still gets that notification like, hey, this person clicked, even if it's by accident.
so let's assume that people are using it. Let's assume everyone's using it, hypothetically. Everyone in the test is using the dislike button. I still wonder, like, what you need to, what else would you want to know, like, okay, this is like a healthy thing, because like it
I
could
think they'd
make
have to
people
release the
toxic,
surveys with it.
huh?
I think they'd have to release the surveys. Like when you open the app, like, how are you feeling today? You know, like a little
Yeah,
survey before you start going, and then every day for like 7 days straight, see like if their mentality has changed,
yeah,
and just like throw thousands and thousands and thousands of stats at these computers and just let them process it. Right? Like if they're like, how do you feel with this new dislike button? Happy, sad,
yeah.
doesn't matter to me, or super happy, whatever it is.
Speaking of those emotions, so Facebook has like more than just. Can you dislike actually? Or no,
I
you
don't
can say like
I
happy,
think you can
sad,
leave
maybe
thumbs down.
angry. You can give thumbs down. Okay, that's essentially a dislike. Let me
Let's
see.
see. Um, hold on. No, you can't.
What are
Thumbs
the
down,
options?
thumbs up, heart, someone hugging a heart, laughing like crazy, like shocked,
Yeah.
sad, and angry.
Okay, the angry is pretty close to a dislike, but it's not really the same because like when you go on, you see the like and comment, you have to like click it and hover to get to angry.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's close to it. What do you think of these the reactions? I'm trying to think like what things would make like social media like would any of these things make it more healthy? Like if you went on and you could see like, okay, someone tweets something and you could see how many people said they think this is a lie. Like you could press like inaccurate or something. I don't know.
I think it'd be pretty cool to see that kind of stat. Like I have such a conscience, so I'd feel awful. Like if I knew the person wasn't lying and they had 20,000, dislikes or saying like this is a lie,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get involved, but I'd feel bad.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you as well. I hate, 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 hate the reactions on iMessage. Like when somebody's like, if I'm texting somebody,
Yeah.
right, and I send you a text and you like the text, right? You can hold and send me a thumbs up on it.
Yeah.
You know, why couldn't you have just said like sounds good?
You don't like it because you think it's low effort, like they're
I
not
think
putting
it's
in effort.
terrible. I think it's
Is
low
that
effort.
why?
And I hate getting the notification for it because it says reacted to. And then you're like, well, what if I don't remember what I was talking about and they like it from like, you know, 25 texts up? Like I have to scroll. Like, why couldn't you have
Okay.
just like it's just low effort,
Yeah.
right? Like if you really, yeah. Basically, I just don't enjoy like on a Facebook picture, different Instagram picture. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think that theory or that style of liking would be pretty cool on Instagram.
I'm curious if other people feel the same as you because I realize I give the thumbs up a lot in response to people on like
I don't
Facebook
think I've ever
Messenger.
reacted to a text.
I don't think maybe I've done it a couple times, not often, but I mainly use Facebook Messenger more than text for whatever reason, like more than iMessage. And I definitely, if someone says like on their way, like I'll put a thumbs up
No,
instead
but
of
you send the thumbs up. You don't react to the actual text.
it feels almost the same. Like if someone says on Facebook message
Like, yeah, it is.
on the
It's
way
kind of the
and I give a
same.
thumbs up, it's similar to
Like, sounds good.
yeah.
I agree. Okay, yeah. When you put it like that,
I'm
yeah.
lazy. I just gotta
Like, but I
let's,
hate
let's
when
just,
fucking some like, bro, just say sounds good. See you soon, or like, don't react. Like, oh, I And then when somebody dislikes a text, like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
There's a dislike option.
Yeah, there's here for text. It's
Interesting that texts have a dislike option.
for Instagram. It's a heart, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, one that says haha.
Wait,
Like
this
if
is
you were gonna
Instagram?
no, this is on text.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, and it says haha, an exclamation point, and a question mark. Right. So I've had somebody send me a text being like, "Man, that was like, that was what a crazy goal." And 2 seconds later, they react to it with an exclamation mark. Like, why not just put exclamation marks in the text?
Maybe you just have weird friends.
And then you have somebody that like is against the team, and they'll put a dislike. You know, like, oh, it
This is a pet peeve of yours, clearly.
I hate it. And people are starting to do it more and more because they're starting to realize that they can. My mom's starting to react to fucking texts. And I'm like, man, like I'll send her like, hey, like I'm already home, don't worry about it or whatever. And then she'll like the text. Like she'll hold the text, give me a thumbs up on it, and I'm like, man, like you couldn't have just like I don't when you thumbs up something, it's like I don't know if you're like if that's okay, if it's like if you thumbs down it, it's like, well, do you need something else? Like if you thumbs down it, like were you gonna do something else, or I don't know. I feel like I'm going off topic a little bit with that one,
No, it's all right.
but yeah.
It's all good. Trying to think what else. What else is interesting related to this?
I think people need to just I'll say this all the time. I think people need to completely I don't even know what the word is. Like either revamp or like Neil told me, right? Like, be more conscious of what you're posting. Don't
Yeah.
just post to post. Like
Yeah.
unless you thoroughly or like you're fully committed to what you're about to post, like the mentality of it or, the picture or you're like passionate about it, like just don't post it. Like I see on my feed every day, probably the same person. Like I get you're going for a bike ride and I get like but does every post like unless like why not just have a photo album for yourself? Why not
Yeah.
create if you're posting the
But
same
you post on Instagram.
no, but I'm saying the same picture
Oh.
on their story like almost every day of them on
Yeah.
the same bike ride. It's like we get it. You bike for the first couple times, great.
They just
Fantastic.
want to remind you.
But like I don't need to be reminded,
I'm kidding.
you know? Then you have the people that post to Instagram like 1,000 times a week, right? Like, is it necessary to post 1,000 times a week?
So you could unfollow them, but you don't want to offend them?
110%.
Are there things where you can, I think Facebook has, you can
Hide.
like
You can
hide.
hide.
You can't do that on Instagram?
I think you can. I don't know. But like what if they post something that's
But
relevant
you,
to
you
me?
kind of want to see it so that you can get angry. You
Oh,
enjoy,
okay.
getting angry about it.
Here, let's see. What if I mute this? You can unmute them. Instagram won't let you know you muted them.
There you go.
So you can mute people,
It's beautiful.
but you
It's a
won't be able
beautiful
to
thing.
see their stuff if they post it.
I thought you don't want to see their stuff.
No, but you'd have to go to their actual page to see it.
Yeah, I thought you don't want to see their stuff.
But like, what if they
Good
post
point.
something that's like relevant to me or I actually like, right? Like, what if one day they're posting a picture of their bike, and the next day they're posting, a new baseball bat they just got? God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you. Oh,
You got the
sometimes I,
sternum pain
I pull a muscle here
every
when I
time. Every
sneeze.
time I sneeze,
Sometimes. You have the same thing?
everything. Yeah, and you have to pop it.
Mine, I don't need to pop it, but I need to like stretch it out for a few seconds, then it goes away.
And it's painful.
Yeah.
We're old, man. We're so old. But yeah, I still want to stay connected. You know, you can't live with a phone and you can't live without a phone. It's
I would
a
love to try living without a phone for like a day or a week or
do
something.
it. Like I couldn't do it because I like my
It's so
mom would text.
difficult.
It's just too hard. Everyone's so reliant on their phone,
I guess I
right?
could probably do it on a weekend one day.
You'd
Go
literally
try to
have
go
to tell me every
24
day.
hours.
You'd have to send out a mass text. Please do not contact me as
No,
of
like worst case, like you're not gonna need me for anything urgent. You're like the only people who are gonna need me for something urgent are like my parents, like my family, right?
yeah.
So I just let them know. And then if I don't let every friend know, it's not the end of the world. If they message, I respond to them 24 hours later being like, sorry, I turned off my phone for a bit.
And then they dislike it, and then you get mad, and then it goes against you. You think about it. You're like, man, like I screwed up. Listen, if you sent me that text, like, hey, I wasn't with my phone, I would react to that text. I'd react. I'd say dislike. It's
Yeah,
interesting,
I'm
man.
definitely very addicted to my phone. Definitely trying hard to find ways to stop the addiction. It's
But
like
like,
this unhealthy. It feels like this like I need to know things like right away. Like for instance, I'm sitting down. I was with Gab and her friends last night. And I've been trying to make a conscious effort of not going on my phone when people are around. Um, because it just completely distracts me. I can't multitask and pay attention to people and be on my phone. It's impossible. So, anyways, like I'm sitting with them, we're talking, and a thought pops in my head, being like, "Oh, what was the score of the Flyers Lightning game? Because the Leafs, if they win, will play. We're gonna play the loser of that game." So like I like automatically subconsciously reach out my phone to look at it, and I guess this is the one times I was actually like I snapped out of it and was conscious. I was like, "Do I really need to know this information right now, or can I wait like 30 minutes until I'm gone?" Like this is not information I need right now, but for whatever reason, like just subconsciously or automatically, whatever the word is, like I just reached out my phone and started looking at it. And yeah, it's little things like that just all the time that I'm looking things up that I do not need that information right now.
no, you don't need it. That's
And
the one thing I try
that's the
not to
reason I
do.
open my phone 300 times a day. That's the reason. Because there's these little moments throughout the day where you want to look something up, but you don't really need to. So I don't know what to do about it.
Put a
Help me.
dislike and a like button on your front page, and every time you reach for it, and it wasn't a good thing, dislike, dislike, dislike. Yeah, I'm addicted to my phone, I think, but at the same time, like I feel like we all are. I feel like as a world we are.
I'd be um I'd be very curious to see like on iPhone there's the I think it's well-being or whatever it's called. You can go in settings and you can see how many hours a day you're using it, but it only shows you like 3 or 4 weeks old data. You can only go back 3 or 4 weeks. I'd be curious to look at like the last 5 years and see like how my usage has gone up. Like now I think I average like 4 hours a day or something on my phone.
But I
Probably
feel like
five
that's
years
not
ago
even
it
a
was
lot.
half that, maybe.
But I feel like that's not even a lot compared to some people.
Oh, I know. Like it varies.
Like there are people that have full time jobs on their phone. They
Yeah.
should just basically be getting paid to be on their
Yeah.
phone.
And I mean, like there's different ways to look at it. In some ways it seems bad that like some people are spending 10 hours a day on their phone or whatever, but I mean, we're spending less time on our laptops and watching our TV. So it's not like we're kind of a lot of it is substituting screen time for other devices, right? Like
Yeah.
50 years ago, some people watched TV 12 hours a day, 16 whatever hours a day. I mean, now instead of that, we play video games, we're on our phone. It's like similar. I don't know.
What if you could dislike everything? Back to that social rating.
Yeah.
What
Well,
if you could
we did
just
the episode.
dislike?
We did the episode on ratings.
Yeah, but what if you could just dislike everything?
What's an example?
Like, you turn off your computer.
Yeah.
You get a notification on your phone. Was your computer satisfaction today? How was your
Right.
dislike? It was slow, right?
Yeah. Good
Apple
point.
gets that. Apple gets that notification. MacBook Air 2017 or 2018 model, slow. Like, what if everything, like the speakers you buy, the cups you drink from, the camera you use, what if you could dislike everything? Forget the social media.
Yeah. I thought about this a little. I think it'd be good, like if it was easier to give feedback for these companies. To your point, like they'd understand what people's issues are. You can do it with most things today, I think. In the example you said where your computer's not working well or whatever, I mean, you could go to Apple's website, find the contact us button, send them an email, but it's so much effort. You're probably not going to get a response back that's like actually helpful.
And if you do, it's an automated one.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but you can do it with most things. It's just I think what you're getting at is like ideally it's easier.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it'd be interesting. No, but what if you could see the dislike buttons? Like, what if you could see, like, when you're buying something, right? Like, when you go to a website, they're never showing you like, when you go to a Google review, they're never showing you like, the bad
well, you can
starred
see
review.
bad stuff. Well, what do you mean? If I
Like, a lot of these companies will message you and
yeah.
tell you to take it down or ask you
Oh
to take
yeah,
it
that's
down,
not good. That's not good.
right? Like, these are facts,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just not authentic. That's why I'm saying, like, if you could post something like a dislike and it can never be taken down, I think the world becomes a better place, becomes a more honest place.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point around like should things be more permanent
I'm
or
gonna make
less permanent on the internet?
we should make a social media platform where once you post something, it could be text, it could be a picture, it could be
Never
anything.
comes down. That'd be interesting.
It can't come down.
Hmm. So I'm trying to think what the appeal is. So what is the appeal to people? You say this is more honest.
It's more
This is a
authentic.
more honest social network because people aren't able to take down stuff that they later realized made them look bad or whatever. It's more true. It'd be interesting. I think, like we talked about, a lot of people aren't going to use it because it's high risk. Um,
But I think people would be more prone to be like the lurkers, the watchers, the people that like and dislike them.
yeah.
I think that's the name of it too. True.
Would
True
you would you
apple.
make it with likes and dislikes as well? Once you click like, you can't switch to dislike.
Yeah.
So what about if your finger slips? Like someone posts like a Nazi video and you accidentally pressed like, you meant to press dislike. I guess you could comment on it, being like,
I pressed like
I
back.
messed up. I messed up. Yeah, you could do something like that.
I think it'd be an interesting
It
concept.
is interesting. It is interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I'm maybe convinced as much as you that it's I think in your mind it might be a bigger problem than in my mind that you can delete and change stuff. I see where you're coming from. I haven't thought about it enough. I'm not convinced that it's a big issue that you can delete stuff. I mean, Twitter, they don't let you edit tweets. That's been like a big point. I've seen like debates on Twitter around like should they let people edit tweets? And it's similar to what you're saying. I think it's a good thing that they haven't because then you can't like manipulate things. Especially the issue with that is like if you can edit it and the likes stay, like you could do some crazy stuff where like first you say like,
Predicting the Raptors game.
oh, I was gonna say something where you make people look bad for liking you. Like let's say you say something like I like, this is a bad example, but you write I like dogs on Twitter and a lot of people like it, and then you edit that tweet and make it say like I like Hitler, and then those people still like it, they could get in trouble. So like that's a bad example, but something like that. Um, but anyways, where I'm going with this is I think the fact that they don't allow editing is sort of similar to where you're going with like take it to the next step and don't allow people to delete.
Yeah, maybe I'll take away the if you like it, you can't unlike it.
Yeah.
But like not you can't take it down whatever you put up.
Yeah. Interesting. To your point, the other thing that comes to mind is like you said, nothing is ever really deleted
Yeah, it's
because
always out there.
yeah, so I mean to some extent you can't really
If you
delete any.
search long and hard, I'm sure you could find some of your stuff that
Yeah.
you've removed,
Yeah.
somewhere, somehow, with
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah. All right, I'm just trying to so going back to the original question we started off with, like should there be dislike buttons? Because yeah, part of the reason I wanted to have this conversation is because I didn't know in my mind, like trying to make up in my mind, like, is it a good thing? Um, I definitely agree with you that like testing it is like a no-brainer kind of thing. The only thing I'd be concerned about is like, um, this is the big criticism these social media companies get is like because they're a company and they're focused on profits, like oftentimes and they're advertising based, they just want you to spend as much time on the app as possible because the
That's all
more
they
time you
want.
spend on the app, the more ads you see, the more revenue they get. So the issue is people say like, okay, but the amount of time you spend on the app isn't actually necessarily good for us, right? Like if me instead of spending an hour a day on Twitter, I start spending 10 hours a day on Twitter, I mean that's going to be great for their ad revenue, but like my life's going to be in shambles if I'm
And
spending
they
10.
don't care. They don't care.
Right. So I guess that's my only concern with like a test like this. Like let's say you do the test, people love the dislike button, but now instead of 1 hour a day on Twitter, I'm spending 10 hours a day on Twitter. Like I don't necessarily want that. So that's my only concern. So I don't really know like how to figure out like I don't know, is it actually a good thing? But like going back to where this thought first came from, usually it's Trump like posting some stuff that like just to me is so blatantly a lie. And I don't like the fact that people will see it, they'll see tons of likes on it, and that might make people think, this he must be telling the truth. When in reality, if there was a dislike button, there would have been a lot of dislikes, and it would have told a different story about it. But that's all I got.
Imagine. Just imagine how many dislikes.
I'd
I'm
be
sure we could.
curious. So I'd be curious to see like what the like to dislike ratio is because that's one thing we didn't talk about is it's not like you can fully trust the like to dislike ratio.
No.
Similar to ratings on stuff, like I think most of the time you can trust a rating on a movie or a restaurant, but sometimes they'll get a really good rating and you will hate it, or they'll get a really bad rating and you'll love it. So
Yeah.
just because something has a lot of dislikes compared to likes, you could still like it. You could be in the minority and vice versa. So it's not like it's not a perfect system.
A perfect crossover.
Yeah.
They should just try it on Trump.
Just him.
Yeah. Trump 2020. Just that's what he gets, a dislike button.
I heard that Twitter might buy TikTok.
I think it's Microsoft. Unless
Microsoft?
Microsoft unless Microsoft owns Twitter. I
No,
don't
they
think so.
don't. They don't.
Facebook owns Twitter, right?
No. Twitter's on their own. Facebook owns Instagram.
Oh, Facebook owns Instagram. Yes, you're right. Wait, Jack Dorsey is the Twitter guy, right?
Yeah, he's Twitter and Square. I don't know that much about Square, but they're like, have you seen the little payment? They started
Oh yeah.
off, remember those Square things you can plug into your phone to swipe credit cards?
Yeah, when you had to remember you did it once for a FIFA bet?
For what?
Remember you lost a FIFA game and you had to pay Square?
Who'd I have to pay?
Jay made you sign on his phone.
Oh,
No.
yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
Um, fair. I'll call Jack Dorsey. Tell him to implement a dislike button.
Yeah, tell him.
We should tweet at him. That is my opinion on this topic.
All right,
I think
I'll put a Twitter poll. I'll put a Twitter poll asking if people think Twitter should have a dislike button. I'm curious what people say.
use like out, outrageous hashtags too, like Trump 2020, like just so everybody sees it.
All right, I gotta go help Gab bring in some groceries.
Well,
Thanks for the combo.
yes, and be expecting the first podcast in a while. Within the next, I'd say a week and a half.
Do you know who's gonna be the guest yet, or no?
I think
Or
it's gonna be an
solo?
update. I think it's gonna be an update of like
Yeah,
what's happening, and then like I don't know if you've met my buddy Matt.
yeah,
He's taking over, and he's
cool,
like, and then we already have our first guest. It's gonna be the girl side of dating apps.
nice.
So
All right, I'm looking
we're
forward to the
making
update.
moves,
All right,
making moves.
I gotta run from now, but we'll chat soon.
Hasta luego, dude.
Bye.